Welcome to the lesson on adding graded items in the Canvas Gradebook. This is part 2 of our 4-part video series on using Canvas grades. In this section, we'll learn how to add or import a Canvas item for each graded element of your course. As you watch, I encourage you to return to the Canvas course you started working on during part 1 and pause the video as needed to follow each step. In the Canvas Gradebook, you will see a row for each student in your course and a column for each item that receives a grade or requires a student submission. These can include assignments, discussions, quizzes, and attendance. All items that appear in the gradebook will also appear on the assignments page of your course. Some items, such as discussions and quizzes, also appear in their own sections as well. In some cases, there might be items on the assignments page that do not receive a grade, but require a Canvas submission from the student, such as an ungraded feedback survey. Attendance is also an exception, as it will appear on the assignments page even if it is ungraded in your course. However, please remember that every item on the assignments page creates a column in the gradebook, and so you should not create assignments for items that are ungraded and don't require a student submission. For example, if you want to post information letting students know what reading they should complete, or sharing lecture slides, this content should be posted as a page, link, or file within a learning module, not as an assignment. There are 2 ways to add graded items to your course, either by creating them manually within your course or by importing them from another course. By now, creating or copying assignments, discussions, and quizzes should be familiar, so we won't discuss these tasks in detail here. However, if you are unsure how to do this, please review the Canvas 102 workshop or reach out to the CTLD. One quick word of warning if you do plan to copy a previous Canvas course. If you copy the entire course, it will overwrite any changes you made to the grading scheme and gradebook configuration in Part 1, and you may need to redo these steps. You can avoid this by copying only the specific items you need, or ask the CTLD for more detailed assistance. It's a good idea to start with the chart of assignment types from your syllabus and use it to create a list of all the graded items in your course. For example, the first category here is discussions. Perhaps there will be 4 of them over the course of the semester. For assignments, maybe you know that there will be 6. Each one will need its own unique title in the gradebook so students know where to submit their work. The midterm exam is the next category, but it's just 1 item. So is the final project and attendance. In my example, we ended up with 4, 10, 13 total items. We'll need a Canvas item for each one. As we discussed, you can accomplish this by either creating each item or by copying it from a previous course, both of which are probably familiar tasks. At this time, go ahead and add these items to your course. As you add each item, be sure to give each one a point value that isn't 0 so that it will factor into students' grades. You can also select how you would like to grade each item, using points, percentages, letter grades, complete, incomplete, or on a GPA scale. When you return to the assignments page, you'll probably see something like this. Items might be grouped in different ways. For example, there's a group called assignments. The discussion items I created are in a group called discussions. The midterm exam is in a quizzes group. And I've got some things in a group called imported assignments, which got created by Canvas when I copied these items in from last semester's course. If you're thinking this looks like a mess, you're right. But don't worry, we're going to take care of all of it in Part 3. For now, there's still one thing missing, which is attendance. Canvas uses an external tool called Roll Call for its attendance feature, and so there are just a couple extra steps we need to take to set it up to work with the gradebook. First, go to the course navigation menu. If you see attendance there, great. If not, it may be disabled. To change this, go to Settings, then Navigation, drag attendance up to the top group of items, and click Save. Now the tool is available for us to use in this course. The problem is, it hasn't created an attendance assignment yet. To create one, so that we can adjust the settings and add it to the gradebook, one option is to just go to the attendance tool and mark a random student present, then click through until they return to unmarked status. Another option is to go to one of your previous courses and copy over just the roll call attendance assignment. By doing either of these things, you will generate an assignment called roll call attendance, which is worth 100 points by default. We can change the point value by editing the assignment, or we can choose not to count it towards students' final grades at all. Even if attendance is not graded, we still recommend using the roll call tool to track attendance, as it will make census roster verification easy, which is a really important process, particularly for students who receive financial aid. As a final step before moving on to Part 3, return to the assignments page and check to be sure that there are no duplicate assignments. For example, we discussed earlier that my course has 13 graded items, so I should see 13 items here. The exception to this may be attendance if it's ungraded, or other ungraded items that require a Canvas submission, such as a feedback survey. In Part 3, we'll get ready to organize these categories.